Salam alaykum wa barakatuh. All thanks and praise are due to Allah, whom we thank, seek for help, and vote for forgiveness. We seek refuge with Allah from the devils within ourselves and from our bad deeds. He whom Allah guides will never be misled, and he whom Allah guides will never find one to guide him. I bear witness there is no one worthy of worship except for Allah, that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is a servant and messenger. And that said, O servants of Allah. Today, inshallah, we will be going through some points on how we could unite as a community, how we could all better ourselves as a community. And inshallah, these 10 points, they were given from Ustad Abu Taymiyah, who's here in New Jersey last year. And these points are his points. And inshallah, we can all reflect as I go through them on how we can each become a better person to help our community. Right? Especially in this time right now, with everything going on, right? The brothers and sisters in Gaza right now, we need help. So if we all go back to our deen, inshallah, and become closer to the deen of Allah, we'll all help them, inshallah. So, inshallah, we can all benefit from this and reflect. Firstly, we could all benefit and become better helping our community by having patience with one another. And having patience with one another goes a long way, a long, long way. Being patient to the one who is misguided, or being patient to the one who needs help, rather than being mean or arrogant to someone. Start with your parents first. Respecting your parents and being nice to your parents, respecting them. That's the first thing. Rasulullah ﷺ, he says, the best of you are those who are best to your family. He said, and I am best to my family. So start with having respect and patience with your family. A prophet that had extreme patience is Prophet Ayyub alayhi salam. And this goes a long way. Prophet Ayyub, we know that he was very rich, he had money, he had kids, he had land, everything. Allah tested him by taking away everything. His land, his wealth, his children, his health. He was sick. But he was patient. But he endured that test and Allah rewarded him by giving it all back. So be patient toward others and from tests from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Next thing is building your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This one, ya akhwa, this one is very, very important. Becoming close to Allah, establishing that connection, knowing your Lord. Do you truly know who is Allah? These are important things that we should ask ourselves. How is our connection with Allah? Who is Allah? Do you know His sifat? Do you know His attributes? Do you know His names that we call Him by? And Asma al-Husna. Do you know them? These are very important things. If you don't know them, start to learn them. Build that connection with Allah. Start to pray prayers like tahajjud. Start to pray qiyam al-layl. That one-on-one connection with Him. You know it's just you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Call out to Allah with whatever you need. Whether it's family problems, money problems, school, you have a big test, midterms, right? You want Allah to help you? Ask Allah to help you. Only call up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one and only. Next is being fair and being just. For instance, being tolerant for all kinds of people, everyone. And have that level of fair and just, because Allah loves those who are just. And this is mentioned all throughout the Quran. Being just and being fair. Remember last week we talked about the 7 people who will be under the shade of Allah. You guys remember who was the first person? Does anyone remember? The first person under the shade of Allah on the day of judgment, on the day where there's no shade. Who is the first person? A just ruler. A just ruler will be the first person under the shade of Allah on the day where there's no shade except for His. Why? Because that justice and fairness that's being spread around is so important. It has an effect on the entire community. So if we're all fair to one another and we're all just, we will help our community so much. So it all starts with ourselves and having tolerance for every single person, no matter age, nothing. Next is we need more leaders, not followers. Now, wallahi, this is very, very important. And I wish the shabab, the young guys, really listen to this, right? All of us, inshallah. We need more followers, not sheep. We need more leaders, more leaders, not followers. More people who are going to raise the ummah, right? And I give an example. A lot of people, they're in school right now. If your school is a school that they don't have salah established, you could have salah established. Be a leader. Gather the Muslims in your school, start to pray. Many schools have done it. My school does it. Be a leader. Gather your Muslims in your workplace. Establish your voice as mu'mineen, as Muslims together. إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةٌ, right? The believers are brothers. So establish that unity amongst each other and become a leader amongst your brothers, your close friends, and you will see the reward for it. And you will see how your life changes because of it. So be a leader and be a fair leader. And this goes into so many fields of da'wah, calling people to Allah when you're a leader, right? People look up to you. So be a leader, and be a leader in the right way. If you're a leader amongst your friends, the people, the non-Muslims, they will look at you as a Muslim. And look at your actions. And your actions sometimes speak louder than words. So be a leader and show the Muslims and the non-Muslims how it really means to lead people by the will of Allah, by the rules of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Next is something which we see often now, which has to do with ego. It's to not have a forget and forgive attitude. And we hear people say that, right? I'll forgive you, but I won't forget this. Is that what Rasulullah taught? Is that what he ever preached? Right? Did Allah ever mention that? To only have mercy on your brothers, but no, don't forget, hold a grudge against them? No, a'udhu billah. Rasulullah taught us to not break friendship, do not break kinship, do not break your family relationships. Don't have that attitude of forget and forget. Forgive and forget. That's not attitude of Muslims. Rasulullah ﷺ, he said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will show mercy upon those who show mercy to one another. So if we forgive each other, maybe your brother wronged you. If your brother wronged you, it's a big thing, right? But how many of us, when our brother wrongs us, we don't care to meet him again and to come on, equal terms. We just break the friendship. Khalas, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. Khalas, he said this thing, I'm never going to be friends with him again. I'm never going to talk to him. This is not the way of Muslims. This is not the way of Rasulullah, not the Sahaba, not the Tabi'een, none of them. As Muslims, we should not break friendships. We should not have that attitude of, that guy, he thinks he's all this, he thinks he's all that. And we see it. So forgive each other. And a hadith that I always think about is Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He said, on Mondays and Thursdays, your deeds are brought to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he said, the two people who are broken friendships, who are angry at each other and have not reconnected, Allah does not even look at their deeds. I hope you guys are listening. He said Allah does not even look at his deeds. For the two friends, the two people who break each other, right? But they don't come back together. Allah does not even look at his deeds. So that's something we can all act upon today. If you have any enemies, frenemies, whatever, people who you stop talking to for some silly reason, and we all know it's silly, stupid stuff. He said this, he said that. Reconnect our friendship and establish that unity amongst each other. And do not hold grudges. This is not the act of Muslims. Next is having humility, being humble. And no matter who you think you are, and you understand that you're not perfect, and you will mess up, and you have mistakes, and you have flaws. So don't walk on the earth like you're something when you're not. Because Allah will all return to Allah. So imagine if everyone humbled themselves to Allah. Imagine if not everyone saw themselves as better than each other. Right? We would be so much better as a community. And that doesn't matter if you're one who leads salah or if you're one who barely even prays. Right? Have humility, have humbleness towards one another. And inshallah, we all take part in this. To have humility, be humble, not only to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but to each other. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says in the Quran, in Surah Al-Furqan, that when the arrogant people, they talk to them, you respond with salam. Right? If I remember the ayah right now, I'll say inshallah. But when the arrogant people approach you and they talk to you, you say salam. Okay. Inshallah, if I remember, I'll say it. And also, your knowledge that you have on the deen of Islam, don't let that allow you to think that you're better than someone else because you have that knowledge, or that power that you have, or that job position that you have. Don't ever allow that for you to think that you're better than someone. You have a higher position than them. Because wallahi, that person, that poor person, the person who's an orphan, doesn't have any family, he could be better than you in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I just remember that ayah. وَإِذَا خَاطَبَهُمُ الْجَاهِلُونَ قَالُوا سَلَامًا. And if the arrogant people talk to them, they respond with peace, salam. So talk to your brothers with salam, especially the arrogant people. Show them the true way of Islam. Next is having a positive attitude when winning the hearts over the people. And being good to those people who you're able to control their hearts. And I always give the example. You never know who you talk to when you talk to people about Islam. Or you want to give an nasiha, you want advice. That person's heart may be open to you. You never know who is listening. You never know who wants a change. You never know what position that person is in. Those few words you talk to them in a nice tone, in a nice way. That advice that you gave him. Right, ya akhi, you know what you're doing right here is haram. You know, I fear for you because I love you. I don't want you to go to Jannah. Alright? Like your brother, for instance, if he smokes, if he drinks, he has a girlfriend, he does haram stuff, he doesn't pray. Advise him in a nice way. Be calm and respectful to him. Because that calmness, that respectfulness that you give to him will go a long, long way. And again, you never know what state people are in. You never know. So have that calm attitude with them. And the next thing, inshallah, is self-control. Self-control, ya akhwa. Controlling your anger. This is very, very important. Na'am? Controlling your anger. When a musibah happens, when something great, mighty happens, right? You don't start hitting. You don't curse. You don't yell. What does Allah say if a musibah happens? What do you say? Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. This is what we say. Being hit when something happens to you, referring to anger, is one of the worst things. And you're not a man if you hit someone because you're angry. Wallahi, you are not. If you act in retaliation physically, or some words are said that you shouldn't say because you're angry, you're not a man. Why? Because Rasulullah, he once saw the Sahaba. They were wrestling in the mesjid. Right? We know the story. They were wrestling in the mesjid, and he came. Look what he asked him. He knows what they're doing. He said, what are you doing? He said, oh Rasulullah, we're just wrestling. Right? And then he says, why? Why are you wrestling? They said, we want to see who's the Rajjal, who's the strong one, the strongest from amongst us. And Rasulullah told them, he said, that's not how you find out who's the strongest amongst you. That's not how you find out who's the true man. He said, the true man is when he is angry. When he's angry, he's hit with a point where he's filled with anger, yet he is calm. He's peaceful. He's relaxed. He doesn't retaliate. He doesn't screaming, hitting. He doesn't result to violence. That's the true man. That's the true Rajjal. So ask yourself, am I a Rajjal? Am I truly a man? Right? Because imagine our community was filled with Rajjal. Imagine everyone prays. Imagine everyone is humble. Imagine everyone controls their self. Right? That's his point. Self-control. Controlling your anger. Being humble. Well, inshallah, that's very important one. To always remember that we're all working on the same goal to achieve Jannah, right? To enter Jannah. So always have control over yourself and your emotions. And Allah will hold you accountable. Next is simply being a calm and easygoing person. Well, I love this one. Right? And I always think about Rasulullah. Right? Being a calm person, right? Someone who someone could always talk to. Someone who someone could always refer to when they need help. Be that type of person. Don't be that type of person who's known to be either extremely strict, right? Extremely annoying, or someone who's just not fun to be around. Not one who's understanding. Right? Be calm. Be easygoing. Right? Rasulullah used to always give that glad tidings to the Muslims, right? فَبَشِّرْهُمْ, right? فَبَشِّرْ الَّذِينَ, right? Always give glad tidings to who? Al-Mu'mineen. So for you guys, right? Always talk with each other in a nice way. Be calm. Give compliments, right? We know amongst guys, right? We don't give too many compliments, right? Should I? Maybe once a year someone compliments you. Give compliments to each other, right? Be fun with each other. Have fun, and don't forget your obligations. Very, very important. And I always tell this to the shabab, always, to the youngers, the youngsters. You tell them, right, you have fun, but you don't forget your obligations. You want to play together, you pray together. You want to go out, go eat, go have fun, don't forget your salah. That's it, right? And you could have fun, you could be fun, you could be a calm, easygoing person, funny, everything like that, and you're still a Muslim. A lot of times when we mix it up, we think we can't be two in one. No, you very much can, right? But I mentioned before how Rasulullah, right? We said that Rasulullah, he's known his overall character as being calm, right? We know that we see the children Medina, he would kiss them, right? He would give them a kiss, he would give them a hug, right? This was the character of Rasulullah. But we can't forget, at times, he was strict, right? He was strict and angry. When? When was he angry? When the borders and the rules of Allah were breaking. When someone transgressed beyond what Allah has permitted them, that's when he was angry. Right? Those are cases where Rasulullah was angry. Right? He was never angry at someone because of a grudge he had. He wasn't angry because, you know what, he said this about my wife. You know what, he said this about, my basketball shot. No, it was when the rules of Allah were broken. That's only when he was angry. And his anger was always resolved with a nasihah and advice to better that person. Because he's not going to start scolding people for no reason. Right? He'll give them a nasihah because he cares for them. We are his ummah. We are from the nation of Rasulullah, and he doesn't want us to go to hellfire. So that's why he advises us. And last thing, point 10, is get rid of the idea of my way or the highway. Right? My sheikh, or I don't want to hear your sheikh, right? I listen to one guy, I don't care what you have to say, I'm not saying any opinions. Don't be like that to the person. Don't be like that to the person. My friend group or not, no one else, I don't care who you are. That's not the action of Muslims, right? Now, in regards to my sheikh or the highway, right? My way or the highway, we see that happen all the time, right? When people are too arrogant to learn, do a little, research to see different opinions, right? The scholars, they used to have different opinions, right? While living at the same time with each other, right? Some scholars would even say bad things to one another. But the right scholar, you know what he would say? Oh, I forgot his name. He would say, give them presents. Go give them a gift. That's what they would do to the ones who would not agree with one another. So if you have a small disagreement with your brother, that's fine. You could, you know the saying, I guess we agree to disagree. And move on. Be men, be rijal, right? Always, you hear the saying, right? Be the bigger man. Don't break your friendship over something small. Again, this thing, my way or the highway, right? It's so vague, right? We could talk about many instances. So just always, just remember that people have different opinions, different views, right? In regards to Islamic views, make sure there's evidence, right? That's the first thing. But, again, other than these, right? What you do, play, talk, your activities, right? Not everything has to be your way. Sometimes you have to sacrifice it for your brothers, right? What do we say? Be one of those people who people could constantly call out to and have fun with and text you for nasihah, for a brotherly advice. Because you never know who's listening. You never know who truly wants to change for the sake of Allah. So always keep that in mind, inshallah. That's the 10th one's last one, inshallah. I'm just going to recap them. So we said having patience with one another. We said building your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We said being fair and just and tolerant with all. We said being a leader, not a follower. We said not having a forgive and forget attitude. We said having humility, being humble, right, to everyone, not walking around with an arrogant attitude. Having a positive attitude when winning the hearts of people, right? Self-control, controlling your anger, controlling your emotions, controlling yourself. Then, simply just being a calm and easygoing person, one who someone could constantly talk to, constantly reach out to. And lastly, get rid of the idea of my way or the highway. And inshallah, if we all implement these rules, or if we try to, we will become a strong community. By Allah, we will. We will come back to our roots, right? We will come back to how the Sahaba used to live. If we just start acting upon these, inshallah, and many more, of course, many more. There's just 10 to name a few. But do these. Build your connection with Allah. Be a calm person. Be respectful toward others. Be respectful towards the young. Have mercy on the elders, right? Many things. And alhamdulillah, I love to see you guys all here today. And I hope that you guys know, inshallah, that we do this every single Sunday after Maghrib prayer. So inshallah, I hope you guys, I hope to see you all. Bi-idhnillah ta'ala. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He allows us to have all learned a good lesson today, and to allow us to act upon it. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us to all enter Jannah al-Firdaus, to forbid us from the hellfire, to accept all of our actions. Wassalamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.